Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? How is everybody doing, guys? This is Lady Tanya here with Minute Meditation Moments. What is Minute Meditation Moments? It's where I take out a few minutes to share with you what the Lord and I have been chopping it up about every morning. Well, on Tuesday mornings at least. Um, Today was a very awakening for me. You know, I don't belong to myself. I'm not the boss of me, right? I'm thinking I'm getting on to talk about one thing, but God says, no, this is what I need you to talk about. And it stemmed from yesterday. Um, I was FaceTiming with my oldest son and his little boy, my baby Corey. He poked out his bottom lip. He said, no, no, I miss you. I want to come to you house. I was like, oh my God. So immediately the waterworks started. I went to crying. So I handed the phone off to my other son who's quarantining here with us and had my little moment. But I ended up going back and looking at another video that he had sent to me. And this video was him outside with him, throwing him the ball. And you should have seen him get in his little stance. It was the cutest thing, but it reminded me of my boys, all three boys. Those of you who know my husband and I know that our boys, they played football for decades, from youth to junior high, then to high school, and then one even went to play semi-pro football. And it reminded me of what God is saying to me in this hour, and I want to share that with you. Um, I'm just reminded as when the boys were out on the field, us growing up, us growing up with them because we had started having our children at a very young age. But as they were out there on that field, um, it was amazing to me that they had choices. They all three of them were on the receiving end of the football, okay? So as they got that ball when the quarterback threw it to them, they had a choice to make. They had a decision to make. Am I going to run it into this end zone? Am I going to take a knee? I used to get so frantic watching them play when they were younger because all the guys were a lot larger than what they were. And they would take that ball and they would run that ball. And when it was wide open, for me, it was fine because I knew that they were quick, they were fast, they were going to run into that end zone and no one would be able to catch them because they were really quick. But when the other team was all set up and it was like a maze going through there, really narrow way. And they zip and go through there and make it to the end zone. And then we celebrate. We have a good time. We are a football family. So it did my heart so good to see my little baby out there contemplating, okay, which way I'm going to go, how I'm going to do this. And he was really in his little stance. And that just made me so happy. I was yelling and screaming, and my husband was on another call, and I couldn't show him to him at the moment because he was wrapped up in what he was doing. And so my question to you today is, are you facing a fork in the road? Are you facing a fork in the road? God took me over to Matthew 7. And here in Matthew 7, there's two scriptures that I concentrated on. And the two scriptures are are the 13th and 14th verse. And I'm going to read this to you right now. The 13th verse says, you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few ever find it. So I ask you, when you come to a fork in the road of life, we have to go one way or the other. You can't just stand there scratching your head or forever turning back as if it doesn't exist, as if the choice doesn't exist. We can't even sit down and wait for someone else to make that choice for us. So where will you end up? It depends on the road you take. That hit me in a whole different way this morning as I was meditating and, as I say, chopping it up with the Lord. It hit me in a whole different way. I would like to share an observation with you in a moment, but Jesus, in the word here, Jesus sets before every one of us the two ways, and only one leads to eternal life, and the other leads, you know where, to eternal death. So, which makes it vital for each of us individually to make a choice, right? So, the observation for you that I made over years ago, there was an observation that I made in this particular text. It was so profound for me. So, hang with me, hang with me, hang with me. Where you wind up depends on the road you take. Where you wind up depends on the road you take. Now, I realize that we can't go south and think we're going to end up in New York City, right? We can't go east and think that we're going to end up in the Mississippi. It's impossible. I realize that we probably can circumnavigate the globe, but using the roads which are in place now, it's impossible. We wouldn't be able to do it, right? Just in the physical realm, I'm going to lay my Bible down, excuse me. Just in the physical realm and in the natural, the physical and the spiritual realm, we can't go to, per se, hell living a heavenly life. And we can't go to heaven living a worldly life. Those were two profound things that the Lord gave me. And it made me think, it made me really think of, where am I when I come to a fork in the road? And He encouraged me to share it with you and ask you, where are you in the fork of the road? What decision are you going to make when you're in a fork in the road? God prepares us for the fork in the road. He really does. But we don't take it to heart when He's leading us and when He's guiding us. We want to turn and go our own way. And that's not supposed to be our makeup as His children. We're supposed to obey. We're supposed to do the things that He leads us to do. I was reminded of one of my older deacons when I was growing up in church. His name's Daddy Mac, and he's gone on to be with the Lord, and I will see him soon. He used to always talk about living on the dash. And me, as a little girl, I'm thinking a dashboard of the car or a dash. He say, daughter, what are you going to do with the dash? What are you going to do with the dash? And I had to sit with that as I grew older and wiser and studied my word more and more. Life is a pause from eternity to eternity. That's what it is. It's a very long pause. And what are we going to do in that pause? It shouldn't surprise us at all, because when we were born into the world, there was death all around us. We've lost friends, we've lost loved ones, we lost family members. But if we really sit with that, if we really take it to heart, if we really, really, really take it to our minds, we have to go that way too. So what are we going to do with the fork in the road? Are we going to choose the narrow, or are we going to choose the wide way? God graces us with a choice. So what choice are we going to take? I'm putting it to you this morning. We have to make a decision. Are we going to live for the world, or are we going to live for the King? It is getting late in the evening. The sun is going down. They used to say that with me when I was growing up in church. I didn't quite know what that meant, but I know what it means now. So I'm encouraging you to make a choice. Choose this day whom you're going to serve and what road you're going to take. I'm reminded 475. I was trying to think. 475 for 2 years in my area where I live. They have been working on the expressway 475. And so they just didn't start the construction. They just didn't pow, here it is, we're going to start it. No, they didn't start it right away. They warned us. First warning, they put it on the television, they put it on the airways. Construction will be happening. You have to get yourself to an alternative route going to work in different places. And so then a sign went up, a stop sign and a stoplight went up in an area that there was never one. So it would blink and it would remind us, okay, construction is getting ready to start here. So you need to figure out which route you're going to take. After the stoplight and the stop sign was pulled out, they put up the cone barrels, the colored barrels. And so the barrels navigated us on one direction. So at that point, we knew that something was really getting ready to happen. All of a sudden, the expressway shut down. We had to find a different route. We had to go a different way. It just didn't happen. We were pre-warned. Just like God is pre-warning us right now in this day. We stand in a critical fork in the road today. The road we take and the decisions we make will determine not only our destiny, but the destiny of our children, their children, grandchildren, and then their children. Let's stand for integrity and purity in every part of our lives. Yes, we are coming to we all are going to come to a fork in the road, a fork in the road. But which way will we take? Well, I love you guys. That's my minute that I'm inclined to share with you that I spent in devotion with my Father this morning. Listen, we have a prayer request on our website. If any of you are standing in the need of prayer for us to help bridge a gap with you, to pray for you, to pray with you, go to firstbcmm.org and go to the request page and just let us know how we can pray for you. We will pray with you, for you, and if you'd like for someone to contact you, we will do that as well. Listen, my husband, Pastor Kevin Dixon, will be back on the line on Thursday at 6 o'clock. Please come back and join us for a study. Listen, have your pencil and paper ready because it's going to get real. I love you guys, and we'll talk to you later.